under a teacher. So you don't have the knowledge, what should I do now, what should I do next, what should be the result of this, and what kind of benefits I should gain after completing this level, and within the next level what kind of results I should gain, what are the instructions to do. You don't have those information with you because you haven't learned, but you are depending on a teacher. But it is very critical point, because you have to choose a well established, well trained teacher, who is eligible to give instruction to a student, because it is at least the minimum level of understanding you need to choose a teacher. It is very critical and it is very important. If your teacher is giving wrong information, or he is giving wrong instructions to do the practice, you will be ended up with different destinations, not the ultimate nibbana. You will be misguided. So the most important thing is you should have Dhamma. At least you are following by your own way, by analyzing Dhamma by yourself, or you are depending on a teacher and you are following his instructions and following his steps to achieve the levels step by step. So these two ways you can follow, but at least minimum level of understanding is needed, whether you are practicing this way under a teacher. So when you talk about this gradual training, we can see all the practitioners, if it's a beginner or in the medium level person, everyone should start with this virtue, sila. We call that sila. We have a main three categories. We call them sila, samadhi, and panya. We call the threefold training, tisikka. The sila is the virtue, morality, and the second one is the samadhi, concentration, with related to the jhanas and all these absorption levels, and third level is wisdom, that is related with the vipassana. So these are the main three categories, main three levels, and all the other practices we can have so many classifications, but all these other sub classifications can be included in this threefold training. So we are talking about the sila first. So we are going to talk about the sphere of sila and what is beyond that. So when we talk about this gradual training, I have mentioned several times, this is like a journey. So let's take an example. If you want to visit a rural area where you have never visited there, for some issue, for some reason, you have to go to that place. So if you want to go to that place, because there are four things you have to do before you start the journey. The first thing is you have to decide what is your destination. That is the first thing. And the second thing is you have to define, you have to elaborate what should be the destination. That means what is the appearance. Let's take, you are going to a new city where you have never visited. So first you want to decide what should be the destination. It is this kind of a city, and these kind of people live there, and these kind of buildings are there. The climate is like this, and these kind of mountains, forests are there. So you can elaborate then, because you have never visited that city. But after getting those details, you can come to a conclusion when you go there. If you can meet those definitions or the things, these buildings and these kind of people, this climate, these landmarks, then you can come to a conclusion, okay, I have come to the real or the expected destination. Without defining that, you can come to a different destinations, but you are thinking that you have come to the expected one. But the first thing is you have to decide what should be the destination, and you have to elaborate that destination with some definitions, okay, with some details. The third one is you have to choose a path from your place, from your home to that city. There may be several paths. You can some paths may be somewhat long, but more convenient. Some paths may be very short but very difficult. The roads are very in a bad condition. So you can decide what should be my path, what path I should follow to reach that destination. So deciding the path is a third step. And then you have to define that path. Okay, you have never visited that destination through this path. So you have to segment, you have to divide that path into segments. Within that segment, I should meet these kind of landmarks, these kind of buildings, these kind of junctions, and where to turn left, where to turn right. You have to define those details. Then only you can come to a conclusions after completing that particular segment. If you have reached, if you have met those kind of landmarks, buildings, or the forest junctions, then you are very confident that I'm following the right path. Those four things we have to do: the deciding the destination, and deciding defining the destination, and the third one is deciding the path and defining the path. So this is also a journey. Like this example, this path or the practice which is admonished by the Buddha to achieve the ultimate liberation. This is also a journey. We have to follow that path. Okay. Before we start the journey, these four things have to be done in this also. What is the four elements what we have to do? The first one is the decide the path. I'm going to achieve these arahantship. I'm going to achieve the Pacceka Buddhaship, or the I'm going to achieve the Buddhaship. I want to become a Samma Sambuddha. These kind of decisions you have to make first. So that is my decisions. So I'm going to work for achieving that purpose. So deciding is the first one. Actually, ultimately you are reaching to the Nibbana, but in a different condition. So you have to decide that first. Then you have to define that one. If I'm going to achieve that arahantship or the Pacceka Buddhaship or Buddhaship, you are becoming a Buddhahood, then you have to define. If I'm going to achieve the Nibbana, what is Nibbana? And when someone achieve that Nibbana, what kind of experience what we can get? So what kind of a thing after achieving Nibbana, what would happen to me? How can I decide? How I can come to a conclusion that I have achieved the Nibbana? So that definition should be taken. So you have to elaborate that Nibbana. What is your destination? That is the second step. And the third one is you have to choose a path. There are several paths you have to take, because in Dhamma also there are several paths you can take based on the character. We call it Raga Charita, Dosa Charita, Moha Charita. So these kinds of Saddha Charita, these kind of characters are there. Based on the character, we have to follow a different path, but ultimately you are going to the same destination. But you have to choose because that path, deciding a path is not an easy thing. That should be done with the help of a very eligible, competent teacher, because you cannot decide what path I should follow. Now you can get a rough idea, but ultimately it should be done with the help of a teacher who is eligible to give some advice. So deciding the path is the third one, and how that defining that path, elaborating that path with all the tiny details is the fourth one. So likewise, you are visiting a city which is you have never visited, like Nibbana. We have never visited Nibbana. We have never experienced Nibbana. So you don't know what is the appearance, what is the experience you can take, you can feel when you achieve Nibbana. We have never achieved, we have never experienced. So that destination is a very completely new one. So we have to define it well. And this path also, we have never gone to the end of this path. Sometimes we have followed some to a particular level to some extent, but we have never completed that path. Otherwise, we would not be here. So we should have achieved arahantship or we might experience the Parinibbana, but we have not done it yet. So that path is also very new. So you have to define the destination as well as the path well, because you are going to start the journey and you are going to meet these landmarks or the road signs within this practice. Otherwise, you are following something, but you are not following if you are not following the right path, if you have not defined that well, you might be ended up with very different destinations, but you think you have achieved Nibbana, because we can see that kind of practitioners, disciples who have done this practice effortfully, but they have practiced, they have trained in a different kind of instructions, which is not admonished by the Buddha. Then they have got some experiences, they have achieved some levels. Now they are thinking they have achieved, because they have come to the stream entry level, Sotapanna level, but they have never achieved that level. That is the thing, is they have not defined the destination well with the Dhamma, with the help of a teacher. They have not defined the path well with the help of Dhamma and a teacher. So that is very important, whether you follow the path by your own or whether you follow the path by the help of a teacher. That is very critical. And for everyone, before you begin the training, before you begin this practice, you have to at least achieve the minimum level of knowledge about the practice, about these levels of Nibbana, about the level of these supramundane results. Okay, otherwise you will be misguided and you will be ended up with a different destination, which is not the results you have to achieve by this practice. So when we talk about this gradual training, I want to talk about some sutta details. I have chosen a sutta called the Rathavinita Sutta, which is in the Majjhima Nikaya. It is actually a conversation between two great disciples, Venerable Sariputta. You everyone know who is Venerable Sariputta. He is the Agga Savaka and the foremost disciple in our sasana, and he got the title who is the foremost venerable among the wise venerables, wise disciples. His wisdom is lesser than only than the Buddha. In this sasana, all the disciples have less wisdom than the Venerable Sariputta. And the other venerable is Punnamantani Putta, Venerable Punnamantani Putta. He is also got a title. He is the greatest Dhamma preacher. He can elaborate Dhamma well. So he is the greatest Dhamma preacher within the great disciples. He got that title from the Buddha. So these venerables, these venerables had a discussion about this gradual training. So Venerable Sariputta one day reached to Venerable Punnamantani Putta and asked, how so are you lived this holy life or the meritorious, virtuous life under the Blessed One, under the Buddha? He asked. Then Venerable Punnamantani Putta answered, yes, also this virtuous life is lived under the Blessed One. And then Venerable Sariputta asked the next questions. Also, your life, your virtuous life is lived under the Blessed One for the sake of achieving the purification of the moral virtue. What is purification of moral virtue? Is the Sila Parisuddhi. So Sila Parisuddhi is the kind of a result we gain after improving our Sila, after improving our virtue. We can achieve some kind of benefits. That is called the Sila Parisuddhi, the purifications of the moral virtue. So Venerable Sariputta is asking, you are maintaining this virtuous life under the Blessed One for the sake of this Sila Parisuddhi. Then Venerable Punnamantani Putta answered, no, also I'm not, my virtuous life is not lived for the sake of this purification of moral virtue. That is not my ambition. That is not my complete goal by maintaining this kind of a virtuous life. What is Sila Parisuddhi? When you start to improve or protect kind of a Sila, it can be 5 precepts, it can be 8 precepts, it can be 10 precepts, or a monk or a novice, it can be a different set of rules, moral code. But you are achieving, but you are maintaining that Sila. Okay, then after doing this effortfully for some kind of a for a period of time, then sometimes in the beginning it is very difficult to maintain this kind of a Sila. These rules, sometimes you will come to an end with the breaking some rules. So then you have to observe them again and you have to start it in the beginning. But after some period, when you are developing, improving this Sila effortfully, then you can feel that it is somewhat convenient for you to protect this Sila. So you can very easily protect these rules. So after having this kind of full training, then you will come to a very convenient, comfortable zone that your Sila is very stable. Your Sila is very established, because very conveniently, very easily, you can maintain this virtuous life. That is called the purification of moral virtue. It is not the improvement. When you are purifying your Sila, it is not the result yet. You are just under the process of purifying your Sila. That is not the results. Still you are in the process. But when you come to a certain level which is very stable with your Sila, with your virtue, with your morality, that is the result. It can be a different level with the characters, but if you can feel that it is now very stable, you are very convenient with the Sila, that is a result, that is a purification of the moral virtue. That is called the Sila Parisuddhi. So Venerable Sariputta asked, for that end result, if something can gain, if something can be gained by developing the Sila, that is a purification of the moral virtue, for achieve that level, for achieve that result, are you maintaining this virtuous life? Then the answer was no, because I'm maintaining this virtuous life not for that. So then the next question is, so then this purification of moral virtue is very foremost thing, because you have to achieve that level. Otherwise you are not stable. You can move to the next level, but you are not stable. Sometimes a very weak defilement can disrupt your path, your practice. Sometimes when you achieve some jhana, your Sila is not purified. You have never achieved the purification level of the expected purification level of the virtue, moral virtue. But you are moving to the next level and you are trying to achieve some jhanas, some levels of concentration. You can achieve some levels, but because your Sila is not purified, you have not achieved purification of moral virtue, very small defilement can harm you, can destroy all the results what you have achieved by the concentration. That can be happen. So this achieving this purification level, at least for the minimum level of the purification of this moral virtue, is very essential. How you can decide that I have achieved this kind of purification with moral virtue? We can see some results what you can gain from the by achieving this Sila Parisuddhi. That is, when you are training effortfully with Sila, maintaining a virtuous life, then after some period you will be free from remorse, avippatisaro, free from remorse. If you have done some wrong things in the past, sometimes you are regretting about that. If you couldn't do some good things, meritorious things you miss the chance, then you are regretting that I should have done that. Okay, these kind of regrets, repentings are there if you are not maintaining a virtuous life, meritorious life. So your mind will be come to a regret. You are repenting about the past, about what you have done, about what you have not done. So these kind of things, the remorses, will not be there if you are maintaining a very much with the virtue. If you are maintaining a virtuous life, then you will not be regretting, I shouldn't have done this thing, because you have not done the akusalas, unwholesome things in the past, because you were maintaining a meritorious life, a virtuous life for some period of time. So then you are not regretting about the past, like I shouldn't have done that thing, and you are doing some meritorious things, so you are not regretting about the past, I should have done that thing because I missed that chance, I should have done that thing without missing that chance. So these things will be, we are saying the avipattisaro, regretting, remorses, repenting. If you are maintaining a virtuous life, virtuous practice, then after some period, when you are doing this effortfully again and again, then you will come to this level, you are free from remorses. Okay, then this is a sign that you are coming to a benefit, you are coming to a certain level which is expected by Buddha after maintaining a virtuous life. So without, if you are free from remorses, less regrets, shows that your sila is very good. You are reaching to the purification level of the sila, moral virtue. Then if you have this free from remorse, if you have the avipattisaro, then it creates the joy. We call the early stage of the piti. Joy, we call the pamojja. When you have avipattisara, you will have the pamojja, the early stage of the piti. Then if the joy is there in your mind, then the next level, then next benefit is, then the piti arises. What is that? The rapture. The rapture is the very strong happiness. You are happy about your practice, happy about your training, happy about what you are doing and what you are not doing. So you are happy. That is called rapture, piti. That is because you have gained that piti because of the sila. Because you are not regretting anything, then the pamojja arises, then the piti arises. Then if you have piti, then you have a very calm mind. We call the passaddhi. You are not thinking about the past. You are not thinking about the future much, because you are very happy about the present moment. You are happy about the present life because you are having a very virtuous life, virtuous practice. Then the passaddhi arises. What is that? The calmness about your mind. Then when the passaddhi is there, the next benefit is the, what you call the sukha arises. Sukha means the pleasure, because it is related with the mind and the body as well. Sukha means you are in very comfortable situation. It is very comfortable with your body and with your mind. That is called sukha. And when sukha is there, your mind will be tend to the samadhi, concentration. So when you sit in a calm place and when you are trying to focus on a particular object, it can be any kind of a meditative object, then it is very easy to concentrate your mind in that object. That is gained because you have avipattisara, free from remorses. Then you have got the joy, the pamojja. Then you have got the piti, the rapture. Then you have gained the passaddhi. Passaddhi means the what you call the some serenity, and you will gain the joy. You will gain the sukha, the pleasure. Because of these conditions, your mind is very eligible for to develop the concentration. When you are experiencing these kind of results, at the end of the virtuous life, then you can have an idea. So I'm reaching to a level of a purification of this moral virtue. So you can define this level by analyzing Dhamma well. But you have to achieve that level before you move to the next level. Okay, the Punnamanthaniputta, Venerable Punnamanthaniputta answered to Venerable Sariputta, for this result, what can be gained by a virtuous life, by maintaining virtuous life effortfully, you can achieve this kind of result, a purification level. That is not the purifying level. This is a purified level. That is why we call the purification of moral virtue. That is a very stable position, stable condition, what you can gain by developing the virtuous life. So the next question Venerable Sariputta asked from the Venerable Punnamanthaniputta, then also you are lived this meritorious or the virtuous life under the Blessed One for the sake of the Chitta Visuddhi, the purification of the mind. So Venerable Punnamanthaniputta answered, no, also my life is lived not for the sake of the Chitta Parisuddhi, the purification of mind. What is Chitta Parisuddhi? Before you move to the Chitta Parisuddhi, the purification of the mind, you have to come to at least the minimum level of purification of moral virtue. Then it is very easy to develop the concentration. When you start to develop the concentration, then you can achieve some levels of higher concentration. You can achieve the access concentration, we call Upachara Samadhi. Then you can achieve some absorption concentration, we call the jhanas, we call Appana Samadhi. And these kind of tranquility levels, by developing the tranquility, samatha, you can achieve some Upachara Samadhi and the Appana Samadhi, jhanas, and sometimes you can gain. At least you have achieved the Patama Jhana, the first level of the absorption concentration, we call the Patama Jhana. You have achieved the purification of the mind because all the 5 hindrances are suppressed for a longer period. So the hindrances are not come to the mind if you are with the concentration, with this Patama Jhana. Okay, then if you have achieved at least one jhana, Patama Jhana, we can call that person is with the purification of the mind. Then someone can do the concentration, develop the tranquility effortfully, and achieve all the 4 Rupa Jhanas and 4 Arupa Jhanas. He can achieve the Atta Samapatti, all the 8-fold concentration levels. Excuse me. Then sometimes after achieving the Atta Samapatti, all the concentration levels, he can achieve some abhinyas. They are called the extraordinary knowledges and wisdoms and extraordinary powers. What you can do, so you can create something, you can walk on the sky, you can walk on the water, you can dive in the ground. So these are the mental superpowers. And sometimes you can see the others' minds. You can recall the previous birth, previous lives of you and the others. These are the super extraordinary knowledges. So these 2 kind of extraordinary knowledges and extraordinary the mental powers. So you can achieve by developing the Atta Samapatti and developing the abhinyas. So these are all belong to the purification of the mind, which is the Chitta Visuddhi. So Venerable Sariputta asks, you are maintaining this kind of a virtuous life for the sake of this kind of a Chitta Parisuddhi. Then Venerable Punnamanthaniputta answered, no, also that is not my goal, that is not my ambition, that is not what I expect from the this kind of a meritorious or the virtuous life practice. The third question is, also your virtuous life is lived under the Blessed One for the sake of the Ditti Visuddhi, the purification of views. Because we have the answer was no also. That is not my ultimate target. That is not what I expect from this kind of a practice. What is Ditti Visuddhi? What is the purification of views? When we discuss about that, that we have a set of views. Some are right views, some are wrong views. The main view is we have a we have an understanding, we have a view that there is a self, there is I, and there is my mother, there is my father, there is my family, the family members, and there is my children. So these kind of, there is a person, there is I. Then we all have that self view. Okay, we call Atta Ditti. There is a wrong view because it is actually not there. There is actually no self. There is zero. That is empty with a self. There is no person. But we don't have, we can't come to that stage, that level, by just thinking there is no self, there is no I. We have to contemplate about these things. What is actually there? What is actually in this body? What is actually mind is? How can I think? How can I work? How can I eat? How can I walk? These kind of things are done. In which way? So we have to, because that is why we come to a conclusion. Okay, there should be a I, there should be a person, there should be a self. That self is doing all these acts, all these things. So it is easy to come to that kind of a conclusion, but it is not right. That is a wrong view. So by developing this kind of a practice, now we have moved into the wisdom category. The first level of wisdom category is this purification level of the views. Actually, purification of wrong views. We are clearing, we are purifying our views. We are come to the correct view. So this is kind of a thing we can, because you have to understand the purification of mind, purification of views is the end result of this segment, of this level, particular level. So while you are purifying your views, you have to do a lot of things. You have to learn about namas, we call the materialities, corporeality, we call the rupa, the corporeality or the materiality, and the namas, the mentalities, what is consciousness and what are the mental factors. Those are the namas. These are the main two segments in this body and what we call the consciousness. Okay, all these things, all the self is comprised with these namas, mentalities, and the rupas, materialities or the corporeality. Other than these things, there is no person, there is no self, there is no I. We have to contemplate about these things. Actually, there are only namas and rupas. They arise, then they come to end, and they vanishes, and they vanish, and a new set of namas, new set of rupas arise. Then it will come to end, and the new set comes, new set arises, and this is happening like generations and will not come to an end. By the help of these namas and rupas, we are doing acts, we are talking, we are seeing, and we are walking, we are eating, we are sleeping, we are sitting, we are doing all the things, we are thinking. All these things are done with the help of the namas and the rupas. We have to contemplate about these things. Then after some period, you are contemplating effortfully about these namas and rupas. Before you start this segment or the level, you have to know about what is namas. There are different set of elements in this nama category. There are consciousness, there are different levels of consciousness, and there are mental factors we call chetasika. There are few number of chetasikas. There are a few number of chetasikas. We have to learn about these things. What are the names of the chetasikas? What are the qualities? What are the characteristics of these chetasikas? And you have to learn them very in a detailed manner. Then only you can start this contemplation. Otherwise, what you are going to contemplate about namas and rupas, just thinking about namas and rupas will not come to an end, will not give a result. Then you have to contemplate in detail about these namas and rupas. Then while you are purifying these things, when you come to a certain level, when you have developed to a very good level, then you can come to a very stable conclusion. Very clearly you can experience, you can it will be understood well. Okay, surely there is no self, surely there is only namas and rupas here. There's no other than the namas and rupas. We are thinking that there is a self, but it is not there. It is not like that we are thinking today. It is a knowledge. We call the vipassana jnana. It is kind of a knowledge what we are taking, what we are achieving by developing the vipassana. This is ditti, vishuddhi, is a result of a vipassana. And it is a vipassana jnana, insight knowledge, what you have achieved by the penetrative insight meditation. So what is the result? The purification of views. Then you at the result you are having, there is no I, there is no self, only the namas and rupas are there. So this is a process of namas and rupas that is a very stable, and you can eliminate the sakkaya ditthi. Actually it is not eliminated completely, but you are suppressing for a longer period. It will not come to the surface level, and you are not thinking as a person, you are not thinking as a self, you are not thinking as I, because you have achieved a knowledge which is called the ditti visuddhi, purification of views. Then Venerable Punnamanthaniputta answered, that is not my ultimate target. Okay, then Venerable Sariputta asked, okay, also then you are lived this meritorious or the virtuous life under the Blessed One in order to achieve the Kanka Vitarana Visuddhi, the free from the purification by doubt, by overcoming the doubt. Overcoming the doubt. What is the doubt? We have a doubt. Sometimes it is a wrong view. Whether I'm created by a God, I'm created by a Brahma. There are beliefs in the world that because the beings are created by Brahma, beings are created by a supernatural being. So these kind of beliefs are there. Sometimes a Buddhist can have, because he is not well established in this sasana, he can have that kind of a thing. And sometimes he can have an idea like it is emerged without any cause, like without, it is not created by anyone, but it is emerged without any cause. Suddenly it emerged because I came here without any previous cause. I haven't had a previous birth, previous life, and I don't have a next life, next birth. So I emerged spontaneously and emerged without any reason, and I live this life and I will die. That is the finish. That is the end. These kind of beliefs are there. So these are doubts. Whether I have lived before, whether I'm living after this life, these are the doubts. So these are, we call, there are 62 wrong views in the Buddha's eras. We call the 62 wrong views. There are in the Brahmajala Sutta, you can identify, you can analyze those dittis, wrong views. When these things arises, then you are not in the perfect level, you are not in the practice. So you have to overcome by this doubt. If you have some doubt whether this is created by a God or a supernatural being, whether this is emerged without any reason, spontaneously, so these kind of beliefs we have to overcome. There should be no doubt about the this generation of namas and rupas. In the ditti visuddhi, you have come to a purification level that there is no a self. You are removing the sakkaya ditti, but you have not understood. How the generation of namas and rupas arise, how they exist, which help of what. Now you are going to contemplate about, analyze about the reasons. We call the paccaya, the reason, causes. We can contemplate about the Paticcasamuppada, the dependent realities, or we call the causality, Paticcasamuppada. Because of Paticcasamuppada, because of the causes, because of the previous causes, these new namas and rupas arise. They exist for a very short period and they vanishes. They pass away. Then the new set of namas and rupas arise because of the previous causes. We have got this life because of the previous causes, and we are going to a next life because of the previous causes, with the help of the karma. So likewise, you are contemplating about the reasons, causes, how these generation, how the existence of those namas and rupas, these mentalities and materialities, how exist, how they are existing in this world, because of the causes, because of the karma, because of the ahara, because of the several kind of reasons, causes. You can learn them in the Paticcasamuppada. In detailed version is the Patthana. If you learn Patthana, there are various kind of reasons which is helping to emerge new realities, namas and rupas. So when you are developing this, when you are contemplating, when you are developing this insight, penetrative insight meditation, that is, you are purifying your doubts, you are overcoming, you are in the process of overcoming from the doubts. You have not come to the end. But after doing this penetrative insight meditation to a certain period, then you come to a level, what we call the result, that is the purification of the purification by overcoming doubts. That is a Kanka Vitarana Visuddhi. Purification by overcoming doubts. That is the results of that particular segment. We are in the fourth segment, fourth level. We are talking about the fourth level. What is the result of the fourth level? Is the purification of the purification by overcoming doubts. That is the Kankavitana Visuddhi. Venerable Punnamanthaniputta answered, for this Kankavitana Visuddhi, to achieve that, I'm not maintaining this virtuous life. That is not my end result, but that is not my target. That is not my final achievement. I'm expecting by maintaining this kind of a virtuous life. Then Venerable Sariputta asked, okay, also then your life, this virtuous life is lived under the Blessed One for the sake of achieving the Magga Jnanadarsana Visuddhi. What is Magga Amagga? There is a purification of knowledge and vision about the path and what is not path. Magga is the path, Amagga is not path, the wrong path. What is Magga is? The Magga is twofold: the correct meditation process or the correct practice, and the second one is the ultimate, the noble paths which eliminate the defilements completely. We call it is fourfold noble paths. We call the Sotapatti Magga, Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, and Arhatta Magga. Those are also Maggas, the correct Maggas, and the correct meditation practice also Magga. What is Amagga? Amagga is the wrong meditation or the wrong practice, wrong meditation practice. And in this level, in this Magga Jnanadarsana, before you come to the Magga Jnanadarsana Visuddhi, some very bright light arise. When very strong piti, strong joy or the pleasure arises, strong sukha, strong pleasure, strong rapture arises. And sometimes you come to a feeling that I'm the one who is doing the meditation well. The others cannot do like me. This kind of mana arises. These things we call the upakkilesa, because they are very close to the practice. Like you can feel them like a result of this meditation process. But you have to understand these. There's a verse called Obaso Piti Passaddi Adimokkocha Paggaho Sukhanyanam Pattanam Upekkacha Nikantecha. These are tenfold things. Some are defilements directly, some are objects for the defilements. So these arises only who have achieved the Ditti Visuddhi and the Kankavitana Visuddhi. Then this person will experience a very bright light, very good rapture, strong rapture, and very good passaddhi, serenity, very good sukha, very good pleasure. These kind of things, sometimes he get the attachment to the vipassana, what he is doing. I'm the one who does the meditation well, the others cannot do like me, I'm the highest person in the meditation. These kind of attachment can happen towards the meditative process, what you are training, what you are practicing. These are called upakkilesa, very close to the practice. And these arise only for the one who have achieved to a very good level of vipassana, not for the ordinary person, not for the who begins the meditation process. This is in the middle. We are in the fourth level, magga magga jnana dassana visuddhi. So in this fifth level, you will experience these kind of things. Sometimes you will be going far away from the meditative practice. You cannot achieve the noble paths by training the correct path. That is, you have directed to the amagga, the wrong path. But you have to contemplate well this, the strong piti, strong obhasa, the strong light, and the strong pleasure, strong joy. These are the attachment towards the vipassana. These are upakkilesa, or the object for the upakkilesa. These are not the results of the vipassana. So I should not focus on these things, and I should focus about the contemplating about the namas and rupas like anicca, dukkha, anatta, like impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So these kind, you have to focus on these things. Then you will come to a result that you can divide with, this is the wrong path, I should not go in that way, this is the correct path, I should follow that way. This is the result of this level we call the magga magga jnana dassana visuddhi, and it is the purification of by knowledge and wisdom about path and what is not path. When you come to this level, you are very stable, because beyond this level the defilements will not arise. If you are doing the effort fully the vipassana, the defilement, this is the final stage, you will the defilements will bother you, will disturb you. And if you can overcome by selecting, by deciding the correct path, by identifying the correct path, then these defilements will never arise if you are doing the vipassana continuously, effortfully, until you achieve the noble path. This is a very higher level of knowledge, vipassana knowledge. So this is the result. If you have achieved, if you have identified the correct path by overcoming these kind of upakkilesa, then you have diverted, you have chosen the correct path, and you are trying to continue on that path. You are in the safe zone. That is the result. That is not purifying. That is the purification level. Purification of knowledge by knowledge and wisdom about the path and what is not path. Then, but Venerable Punnamanthaniputta said, this is not my end result. I'm not expecting only this. I'm not expecting only this one. I have more expectation about this path. Then Venerable Sariputta asked, okay, then you are lived your virtuous life for the sake of achieving the Patipada Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. So this is the purification by knowledge and wisdom about the path, about the practice. It is actually ninefold. We call the Navamaha Vipassana Jnana. There are, we call the Udayabbe Jnana, we call the Bhanganupassana Jnana. Udayabbanupassana Jnana is a knowledge of arising and passing away. This is a matured one. This is matured one, and it will not be disturbed by the upakkilesa or the defilement, because you have suppressed those defilements by the previous level. So Udayabbe Jnana, and the next one is Bhanganupassana Jnana, that is called the knowledge of dissolution, the Bhanganupassana Jnana. And then you Vaitupattana Jnana, knowledge of the fearfulness, these kind of things, Udayabbayanupassana Jnana, then the Bhanganupassana jnana, Baitupattana jnana, Adinavanupassana jnana, Nibbidhanupassana jnana. These kind of 9 levels, 9 knowledges actually, Vipassana jnana, knowledges, you have to achieve within this segment, within this level. It is a very high level of Vipassana, high level of insight, penetrative insight meditation, because it is not disturbed by the defilements. You can achieve the higher levels of knowledges. This is very, because you are very close to the supramundane results, transcendental results. You are very close for the achieving the Nibbana, Sotapatti Magga. So, Venerable Punnamanthaniputta said, this is not my result. This is not my expectation. My virtuous life is not for that. I'm not expecting those things only, because I have further expectation. So, you have to understand the purification by knowledge and wisdom about the practice is a result. You are contemplating about the these sankhara, namas and rupas, by the impermanence, by the suffering, and by the non-self, anicca dukkha anatta. These are the, you are purifying. You have not achieved the vipassana jnana, but after you doing the vipassana meditative process effortfully, you can achieve these. You can we can reach to these knowledges, vipassana knowledge, what I have mentioned. You can learn them in detail, because I'm not going to discuss about them in detail version, because we don't have much time. So the result is, when you achieve those kind of knowledges, that is the purification level. That is the result of this level. This is the 6th level. And you are eligible to move to the next level, which is the final level. And what is the final level? Venerable Sariputta asks, also your virtuous life is lived for the sake of achieving the Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. That is called the purification by purification of knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom. Sorry. And but the answer was still no. Also, I'm not lived my virtuous life under the Blessed One, not for that. Because what is Jnana Dassana Visuddhi is the 4 noble paths. That is eliminating the defilements completely, step by step. By Sotapatti Magga, you are eliminating permanently some set of several kind of defilements. Then the next level, you have to do the Vipassana again, then come to this level, and you are eliminating, you are suppressing some very strong defilements. And from the Anagami Magga, we call the non-returner path, by the Anagami Magga, you are eliminating permanently some set of defilements. And from the Arahatta Magga, path of the Arahant, you are eliminating all the defilements which is remaining in your mind. Those are the supramundane results, supramundane path actually. You are achieving supramundane results by achieving these paths. So we call them the supramundane or transcendental paths, 4 noble paths, Arya Magga. So we call them, if you have achieved, while you are practicing this until you achieve the Sotapatti Magga, we are not telling that you have achieved the purification of knowledge and wisdom, because you are in the process of doing that. When you achieve that Sotapatti Magga because for the first time you are achieving the Sotapatti Magga, and this is the level of purification. This is the result actually. But you have to do 4 times to achieve the other levels, other paths also, because you cannot achieve the all the 4 paths at once, because it has to be done gradually. So this is the way. This is the 7th path and the last segment, last level, until you achieve the Nibbana. But the answer was no. Also, I'm not lived my virtuous life for the sake of achieving this Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. I'm not living to achieve these Maggas, 4 Maggas, 4 noble paths. Then Venerable Sariputta asked, also, then what is your purpose? What is your expectations? You are saying among these 7 purification levels, what we call Sila Visuddhi, Chitta Visuddhi, and Ditti Visuddhi, Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi, and Magga Magga Jnana Dassana Visuddhi, Patipada Jnana Dassana Visuddhi, and Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. Among those 7 levels, this is the main foremost classification about this practice. This is our practice. This is the gradual training, what I have mentioned in the beginning. Gradual training, gradual improvements, and the gradual results. So among these, all the segments, you are saying, these are not my expectation. And what is your expectation? Then he answered, when Punnamantani Putta answered, also, I'm maintaining this kind of a virtuous life, brahmacharya, in order to achieve, not for these 7 levels. I'm expecting to achieve the ultimate nibbana, which is not with the clingings, which is called in Pali anupadisesa parinibbana. Anupadisesa parinibbana thaya ko also bhagavati brahmacharyang ussati. That means also I'm maintaining this kind of a virtuous life in order to achieve the anupada parinibbana, in order to achieve the ultimate nibbana, which is without clingings, which is without these kind of upadi, or the kilesas, or the defilements, or these clinging. So that is the ultimate expectation. Because what is anupadisesa parinibbana? When someone become an arahant, he is still not come to the anupadisesa parinibbana, but he is completely free from defilements, because he have completely eliminated the next life. So until the death, until he die as a arahant, he has to live, he has to suffer with some diseases, he has to suffer with the age, he has to suffer so many kind of physical sufferings, because he doesn't have the mental sufferings, because defilements are not there. He is free from mental sufferings, but he has this body, because it is given by not this life, it is given by the previous karma, what we have done in the previous life, or before the previous life, in the previous samsara. It is a result of a previous karma. So achieving the arahantship will not eradicate this body at once. So you have to wait until this body come to at the end, until this life come to the end, because this life is a result of the past karma. So you have to wait until the result of this past karma come to an end. So until that level, the arahant even waiting for the anupadisesa parinibbana. What would happen when someone achieved the anupadisesa parinibbana? There is nothing. When an arahant come to the death, when an arahant dies, then there is nothing is remaining, no any aggregates, because within these 5 aggregates, rupa vedana sanya sankara vijnana, nothing will go to the next life, because there is nothing called next life for the arahant. So he come to an end of the samsara. That is the final or the ultimate expectation of an arahant. That is what is mentioned by the Venerable Punnamantani Putta. That is what we have to understand. What is the sila there? So we have understood what is the sila. It is the foremost level. That is the first level. But after that, what kind of things what we have to improve? There are so many levels after that sila. So what we have to understand, that sila is the foremost thing. That is true. Without sila, we cannot develop the higher levels. We cannot achieve the higher results in this asana. It is like the foundation of a building. Without a foundation, you cannot build a skyscrapers, without the high-rise buildings, without having a strong foundation. Likewise, without having a strong foundation with the sila, you cannot build your practice with higher levels, like Chitta Visuddhi, Ditti Visuddhi, Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi. These kind of levels you cannot build on that sila foundation if it is not strong. You can build a skyscraper or the high-rise building without a very weak foundation, but in a certain level it will collapse. Likewise, if your sila, your foundation is not well strong, you can develop concentration. That is true, you can develop, but a small defilement can vanish, can destroy all the results what you have gained. There are stories in the commentaries in the Pali Canon also, who have achieved those high levels of concentration by small defilement. It will destroy all the achievements of the concentration. That is happen because your foundation is not well enough strong. That should be done, but you should not stick into that range, because you have to develop, you have to maintain, you have to develop that sila to a certain extent, and you should move to the next level. Then within that next level, you have to improve yourself, and you have to develop, and after achieving them some benefits or the results, then you have to move to the next level. Likewise, you have to follow this gradual training, which is admonished by Buddha. Otherwise, you cannot come to the higher levels. You cannot achieve the higher results, and ultimately the supramundane results. Okay, so the sila is the very foremost things. When you compare with the concentration, it is very low level. Buddha is also mentioning apamatakang, silamatakang, apamatakang, oramatakang, silamatakang. When you compare with the samadhi concentration, it is very low level. It is very basic. When you compare the wisdom with the concentration, it is also very low, because you cannot achieve anything by sila, which should be achieved by the samadhi. Let's say access concentration, absorption concentration, or jhanas, or the abhinyas, you can never achieve by sila only. You can never achieve, because it is a different function. You have to do the tranquility, you have to develop the tranquility, you have to do the samatha meditation in order to achieve these absorptions in those abhinyas. But even though you have atta samapatti, even though you have the abhinyas, it is the supreme level of concentration, when you have abhinyas, superpowers. But you can never achieve single wisdom, single vipassana knowledge by that atta samapatti. You have to develop, you have to improve the wisdom, you have to do the penetrative insight meditation. That by use that only you can achieve the single, very basic level of knowledge of vipassana, because it is a different function. Wisdom is a different function, concentration is a different function, sila is a different function. But sila is the very basic thing. Then you have to develop the samadhi, and you have to achieve the chitta visuddhi. Then you can move to the wisdom, the other 5 segments, 5 levels. So that should be understood, and I think you can you could grab some information about this gradual training, and you should not stick to the sila. You have to go beyond that sphere of the sila. You have to go beyond of the concentration. You have to achieve the higher levels. Otherwise, you are not a true disciple, which is Buddha expected by within this gradual training. So I think you have got some idea about this gradual training, and with those information, I'm going to conclude the Dhamma talk, and by allowing the session for the Q&A. And I wish these merits, we have accumulated several kind of merits by preaching Dhamma, by listening to the Dhamma, by contemplating about Dhamma. These are very high level merits you have accumulated throughout this 1 hour. So these meritorious things, merits, will be a cause. I wish all of you may have these merits, and this will be a great cause, a strong cause to achieve the ultimate bliss of Nibbana for all of you, as you are expecting to achieve. So I'm giving a chance for the Q&A session. You can raise some questions related to the Dhamma facts I have given. If we have some time, extra time, you can go for the other questions as well. Okay.
Okay. Dear respected Bhante, on behalf of Dhamma USA, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for your enlightening Dhamma talk on the importance of morality and its benefits. Your talk has been truly profound and has provided us with invaluable insights. I am excited to share with you some of the questions that our audience has posted. First one is, how universe was created ACS to Buddhism.
Sorry, I couldn't get the idea completely. Some disturbance. Can you read out the question again? Can you repeat the question again? I heard about the universe, but the beginning part I missed.
The question is, how does morality impact personal relationships? How does morality impact personal
That
relationships?
is the morality, that actually it affects the personality. When you compare with the family, when you compare about the company or the institute where you work, or you might have a business, your own business or a shop, and you are dealing with your relatives. And for a kid, he is working with the students, friends, and in the school or the classes. This morality is very essential, because by protecting the sila, by having a virtuous life, you are allowing the other person or the other persons around you having a comfortable life. Let's take one person. Let's take a murderer who kills person, and one day you have to sleep in one room with that person. Can you sleep comfortably with that person? No, because we know he is a person without morality. Then you will never, for a second you will not go to sleep, because when you just soon after you go to sleep, that person can kill you also, because he is a killer. He has killed several person, because you know that person doesn't have a morality. He is not maintaining a virtuous life. So that make you uncomfortable. Let's make an example for your family. You have a husband and wife, you have kids, okay, you have parents, okay, these relatives or the family members. If you are not a virtuous person, sometimes you are losing, you are not giving that chance, that comfortable level, condition, comfortable environment for your husband or the wife. You are not giving that comfortable zone for the kids, for the parents. Because if, let's say, you are a virtuous person, then your wife or the husband is trusting you, because he knows, or she knows, that this person will not do bad things, because he is a person with morality. He protects these kind of rules. He will not go to the other men. She will not go to the other men. He will not go to the other women. So this is a basic level of morality which gives the comfortability for the other family members, your relationships. I think you can the thing is, the morality is, you are giving the peace for the others. You are developing a very good life. You are accumulating so many merits. That is true. It is the foremost benefit you are achieving by the morality. But think about the others around you, your family, in your company. If the company owner is a virtuous person, if the laborers or the subordinates or the superiors are a virtuous person, you are very free, you are very comfortable with that environment, because you know you can put your purse on the table and go somewhere, because you know no one will steal my money with in my purse. You can keep anything, your mobile phone or your laptop, in somewhere, if you are sure, because when you go to a temple, you are very comfortable, no? Because you know thieves are not there, only the monks live there, because they are not going to steal your stuff. because you can keep something next to a monk and go somewhere and come back. It will be there as you kept there. That is the secondary thing what you can get, you can achieve. Actually, it is you are giving for the others. That a peaceful thing, the comfortability for the others, that affect for the relationships. Yes. We can go for the next question if you are satisfied with the answer.
Okay, Bante. We go to next question.
Yes.
How universe was created according to Buddhism?
Universe, the whole universe. That is actually that is, we know our thing, because there are suttas which is elaborating how this Chakkavala, our universe, or we call this our world, our earth, how it is created. It is in the actually elaborated by the Buddha himself. But he is not talking about the universe, because it is actually not related with the practice. The thing is, Venerable Moggallana, he wanted to come to an end, to reach to the and go to the end, and how it is created and how the end appears. Okay, he wanted to do an experiment, analyze this thing, but he never came to an end, and the Buddha asked him to come back. That is actually that is actually understood by Buddha only, because the information about the universe, how it is created, and some facts are there, how the universe begins and how it exists, and how it come to a stable position, and how it going to decay, and how it going to vanish, and then again it will arise, it will emerge with some reasons, and how the beings come to that earth, how come to this world, and how the mankind is began. These kind of things. But actually you can say with the namas and rupas, actually the world is totally created by the rupas. We call the corporeality or the materiality. There are 28 rupas. Within these rupas, which is not for the living, there are a few rupas which is only for the living beings. For the non-living beings, or the material things, the physical things, there are rupas. We call the Utuja Rupa, Uturupa. These whole universe is created by this. But if you are explaining the beginning of the world and the ending of the world, it's a descriptive explanation. I think we cannot go for that kind of a big explanation now. Actually, it is not related with the practice. That is why Buddha is admonishing not to go to explore about the universe or the world. That is a different thing. You should not go for that one, because it is not related for the practice to achieve without any tiny detail about the world or the universe. You can achieve all the result in this practice without any detail about the universe. That is why Buddha is not giving those details, because they are unnecessary details. Are you happy with the answer?
I think it's a good answer for that question.
Okay, we can go for the next question then.
The next question is, how does morality impact personal relationships?
We answered that one, no? We answered
Okay.
that one as the first question for the personal relationships. We can go for the next one.
How can practicing morality lead to personal growth and development?
Personal growth and development. Actually, the morality itself is the personal growth. because you are developing. That is what, when you are developing the sila, I told you, you will be free from remorse, you are free from regrets, because sometimes you may feel, you may have your personal experience, you are regretting about the past, because I should have done that thing, I should not have done that thing. So these kind of regrets are there if you have not maintaining a virtuous life. If you are having a virtuous life, you are free from remorse. That is the first benefit you are taking, which is called the avippatisaro. That is the free from remorse, is the first benefit. Then when you have avippatisara, the pamojja arises. What is pamojja? The early stage of the piti, we call the joy. When the joy is there in the mind, you can experience the feel when the joy is there, no? When you are happy about something, it is very pleasant feeling. You are happy about that thing, you are not regretting about anything, no? When the joy is there, when you are free from remorse, the joy arises. When the joy arises, when the joy is there in the mind, the piti arises, the rapture, the very strong piti, very strong happiness in the mind. Then when the strong happiness, the piti arises, when the piti is there in the mind, then the passaddhi arises. What is the serenity? The calmness of the mind. Then when the calmness is there, then the sukha arises. What is sukha? The pleasure, the comfortability of the mind and the body as well. When the comfortability is there, then your mind tends to the concentration. The samadhi arises. When the samadhi arises, then you can see the world as it is. We call the yatha bhuta jnana dassana. When you have samadhi, when you have a very strong concentration like jhanas, you can see the world with your knowledge as truly it is. That is the yatha bhuta. Truly it is. You can see the world, you can understand the world as it is, truly. Then when you are seeing the world as it is, then the nibbida viraga, we call the disenchantment. You are free from the defilements, we call the maggas. We call the very strong vipassana as well as the 4 maggas, noble paths, we call the nibbida viraga. And when the nibbida viraga, when the disenchantment in the mind is there, when you are free from defilements, then the vimutti jnana dassana, then it helps to become the vimutti, means the phala jnana. That means the fruitions, noble fruitions. We call the sotapatti phala, sakadagami phala, anagami phala, and the arahatta phala. These are the vimutti. And the jnana dassana means the paccavakkana jnana. You are recalling your maggas, paths, and the palas, the fruitions, and the nibbana. What are the defilements I have eliminated? What are the remaining elements, remaining defilements? These kinds of we are contemplating with the paccavakkana jnana. These all begins with the morality. Without morality, no avippatisara. You are regretting. You are not free from remorse. Without free from remorse, you will not feel joy. You will not feel the pleasure. You will not feel the rapture. You will not feel the serenity. You will not feel the concentration, and you will not experience the results of the vipassana. You will not experience the nibbana. These all begins with the morality first. You should have a very strong foundation with the morality. That is how we have to understand the personal development when you talk about the personal development. Yes.
Okay, Bante. The next question is, what is the importance of morality?
What is the importance? I think the previous answer, you can get an idea about what is the importance. No, you cannot achieve any results you cannot go, like we explained in the sermon also. There are 7 levels, higher levels. You cannot achieve, you cannot move into the higher levels without having a purification of moral virtue. Without sila, you cannot achieve, because your foundation is not strong. Anytime it can collapse. So it is very important, essential. You made the foundation. When you are building a home, when you are building a skyscraper or the high-rise building, you should have a very strong strong foundation. Likewise, we have a very huge building to build with higher levels. These levels will not be stable if our foundation is a sila, morality. If our morality is not strong, then anytime it can collapse. It can collapse. You cannot go higher levels because it will be vibrate and it will collapse, because single little small defilement can disturb you, can destroy all the results you have gained throughout a period of time. Then you should pay attention for your morality, and you have to achieve the purification of moral virtue. That is called the Sila Visuddhi.
Yeah, we turn to next question. What are some examples of moral virtues that are commonly valued in different cultures?
I don't know what is meant by different cultures, but we have only one sasana. It is Sambuddha sasana. There are other sasanas we call, there are so many religions in the world, and they are defining. That is why I elaborated first. You have to, when you go for a city where you have never visited, you have to do first, you have to do for homeworks before you start the journey. What are those? You have to decide your destination. Then you have to define that destination. You have to analyze that detailing. Then you have to decide which path I should follow to reach that destination. Third one. And the fourth one is you have to describe that. You have to define that path. What are the instructions? What are the things I have to follow in this path? Likewise, we have the Buddha has admonished this path, this practice, to achieve the ultimate liberation, which is Nibbana, free from suffering, free from samsara. That is our destination. So the Arahatta Magga, it is also a supramental result. When you achieve the Arahatta Magga, when you become Arahant, when you become an Arahant, you have achieved the Nibbana. That is our ultimate goal, our destination. There are some other religions that their destination is go to the God, go to the vicinity of the God, go to the heaven, or to become there are different definitions about their destination. But our destination is Nibbana, to achieve these 4 Maggas, 4 Palas, and ultimate Nibbana. We call the Navalokuttara Dhamma. 9-fold results what we can gain through this practice. So that is our destination. There is a path also. We have to define, we have to describe what is that destination, how it look like, and what are the features, what are the qualities, how you can experience that when you achieve that, what is the condition of that. This is the defining that destination. And the third one is you have to choose a path based on your character, based on your qualification. You can achieve, there are so many paths you can follow to achieve these supramundane or transcendental results. Okay, the Nibbana. And you can decide what is the path I'm going to follow. And then the fourth one is you have to define that path, describe that path, elaborate that path. So without having those homeworks, without that prerequisites, your journey in this practice is not stable. You can go somewhere else. You can achieve some other kind of Nibbana, which is not the ultimate Nibbana, which is admonished by the Buddha. That should not be done, because that is why we need the help of Dhamma. That is why we need help of the teachers. That is why we need a Buddha. Only Buddha can elaborate this destination. This is the destination you have to achieve. These are the qualities of that Nibbana. This is the path you have to follow. These are the qualities of this path. These 4 things are done by Buddha. We cannot, disciples cannot do that. But we have that Dhamma, which is preached, which is elaborated by the Buddha, then we can follow that. In different cultures means that if he is a true disciple of Buddha, that doesn't vary with the culture, with the country. All the sasanas, all the Buddhist countries or non-Buddhist countries, if there are a disciple who is trying to achieve this kind of ultimate nibbana by following this Eight Noble Path, it is not a different way, because it is sometimes the things you have to follow is almost same.
Our last question is, what are some benefits of practicing morality?
Benefits I told. Practicing moralities, I told the basic benefits. Once again, I will recall those things. The first benefit is avipattisara, the free from remorse. You will not be regretting about the past, what you have done or what you have not done. If you have maintained a virtuous life in the past, now you can experience, you may have some few regrets about the past. That is because you have not maintained a virtuous life. You can ask, you can go for a monk. If he is maintaining a virtuous life for so many years, as a true bhikkhu, as a true monk, and practicing well, effortfully, as per the admonishment of the Buddha, then you can ask, he may have few regrets than you. That is because of the sila. Okay, if you can go for another person who doesn't have any kind of a sila, and he may have so many regrets about the past. I have done these kind of things. I have not done these kind of things. So I should have done these things. I should not have done these things. So these kind of regrets will be there because he have not maintained a virtuous life. That is the first, the free from remorses. And then if you are free from remorses, the joy arises, the early stage of the happiness. Joy, the pamojja arises. Then the piti arises, the strong level, the higher, the matured level of the happiness. That is, we call the happiness piti. When the piti is there, then your passaddhi or serenity arises. When the serenity, then your mind is very calm. Then the serenity is there, your mind and you will feel the sukha. We call the pleasure. When the pleasure, that means you are in a very comfortable with the mind and with the body. And with this with this pleasure, sukha, your mind tends to the concentration, samadhi. When samadhi is there, yatha bhuta jnana dasanata, you can see the world truly as it is. When you are see the world truly as it is, you can eliminate the defilements. We call the nibbida viraga. When you have developed, when you have eliminated the defilements completely, you can achieve the pala, the noble fruitions, and the paccavakkana jnana. Then you are a person who have achieved the ultimate bliss of nibbana. These are the basic results you can achieve by having a moral conduct, having a virtuous life.
Respect Bante. As we come to the end of this insightful session on the importance of morality and its benefits, would it be possible for to conclude with a short Buddhist chanting?
How long will it take? Because one venerable is also waiting for the next Dhamma sermon. So I have to give the studio for that venerable. He is waiting. It is, I think, within few minutes it has to be begun. So how long will it take?
About 5 minutes.
Okay, then we can quickly do it.
Please continue with chanting.
So you are expecting me to do the chanting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are expecting a Paritta chanting?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can go for a Karaniya this is Metta Sutta. So you can join with me also. So we are doing, we can chant together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yantan santam padang abhisamecca. Sakko juca sujuca suvaco chassa muduvanati mani. Santussa koca subharoca appa kincoca sallahuka utti. Santimtriyoca nipakoca appa gabbho kulesu ananugidho. Naca khuddhan samacare kinciyena vinyupare upavadeyum. Sukhino va khemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Yeke chipana bhutanti tatha vata varava anavasesa. Dighavāye mahantava majjhimarassa khanukatula. Ditthāvāye vaddintāye cha dure vasanti avidure. Bhūtāvā sambhavesi va sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Naparo parannikubbetha nāti mangeta katta chinang kanchi. Bhyārosana patighasaññānañña maññassa dukkha micceyya. Mātāya thāniyam puntang āyusāyeka punta manurakhe. Evampi sabba bhūtesu māna sambhāvaye aparimānam. Mettanca sabba lokasmiṃ māna sambhāvaye aparimānam. Uddhaṃ adhoca tiriyanca asambādhaṃ averaṃ asapantam. Tintaṃ caranni sinno vāsayāno vāyāvatassa vigatamidho. Etaṃ satiṃ adiṭṭheya brahmametang viharaṃ idhamahu. Dittiṃca anupagamma sīlavā dassanena sampanno kāmesu vineyya gedam. Nahi jātu gabhaseyyang punareti. Etena sacca vaccena hotu te sottite hotu sambada. Etena sacca vajjena sottite hotu sambada. Etena sacca vajjena sottite hotu sambada. So I think we can conclude the Dhamma sermon. So I would like to, because we have accumulated very valuable merits during this time. So we can share those merits with our teachers, with our parents, and all the relatives who have passed away and who are expecting such kind of merits. And also we can share these merits with the Devas and Brahmas who are happy to receive the merits, who are happy with this kind of merit. And also all the members in the audience, all the listeners, we all, these merits will be a great cause to achieve the ultimate bliss of Nibbana as we expect. So may the blessings of the Triple Gems with you. We can conclude the Dhamma sermon, and thank you for everyone.
Thank you for your valuable Dhamma talk, Swamin Hansa.
Welcome.